Hey, what's up, everybody? We got another good episode. They share the blended family with us. They share some other dynamics with us that we can probably, talk about all day. But I want to introduce everybody to James and Alicia, aka That Pittman Life.
Yes.
So welcome them to the episode. How are you guys?
Good.
Excellent.
As blended families, I
Yeah.
think it's real important to just like stay connected because there's so many elements
It
in that.
definitely is.
Yeah.
Because it's so many things that happen, and like not a lot of people can relate. So sometimes you need somebody that can identify exactly what you're going through and can give you feedback. Like maybe you should try this way, or maybe you was right, they was wrong.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I'll look for those moments. I'll wait for like, yes.
Like I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
That's the big. I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
And since we're talking about that, it's really like for that blended family thing, you really have to be in it. Like you don't understand. It's hard to understand it from the outside. Like you could see like what you think, but when you're actually in the mix and like your feelings, the kids' feelings, everybody's feelings, it's completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all the different feelings, like everybody has so many different emotions, and trying to find like a peace within all these different emotions is like obstacle course.
Yeah, you learn quickly that it takes a community to kind of help build just your family. Like you can't even just rely on everybody in your circle. You got to look for like other advice and other people who have been successful in blended marriages to help out,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most definitely. I feel like, just us starting, our YouTube page and connecting with other blended families, other step parents, like other step parent pages. It's just like that has helped me tremendously. I'm like, oh, okay, so I'm not the only person this is happening to, and it's that feeling of alone. I feel like that's the biggest thing, the feeling of being alone.
Yeah.
So true. So tell us before we like dive into the complexity. What is it? Complexity. Complicated.
The complexity
of merging families. How long have y'all been together, and how long have you guys been married and blended?
You want to answer?
I know the answer. You always get stuck on this.
I don't get stuck. So we've been together almost 4 years now, but we've been married for about a year and a half now.
How did you guys meet?
Can I go first?
Yeah.
No, because it's not a debate. Because she always get the skewed version.
Him too.
Exactly.
We met paintballing. Of course, it was paintballing. This one right here shot me in my behind.
That's when we get to the lies.
That is not a lie.
She was like, "This one mine." Bang bang.
And then she hit me with a cheat shot, because when you get hit, I was already hit. So you gotta hold your hand up and the gun up like this, so everybody know you done, like, so you could walk off. So as I was going off, I got hit. I turn around, I see this one. Like, this means I'm done. She shot me. She was on my team.
That is funny.
We could go here all day.
Wait, y'all was on the same team?
And she tagged him.
Look,
That's how you knew.
He add all this extra stuff that he never said before, okay? Because I ain't never heard the same team part, okay? So we just gonna stick to like that's what happened. I ain't shoot him in the ass like he said. We met doing paintballing. And just a side note, when I first walked into the mutual friend's house, he was very rude. He just like, he ain't say hello. He ain't open the door all the way, nothing.
I wasn't rude. I did say hi. Mind you, I opened the door. She had a stroller behind the door, so
This
me and
was
her
the doorway I had to walk to. I'm a little slim, but I had to turn to the side.
So I opened the door and I stepped back in the house and I turned around and I said hi. She already had an attitude with her nose snooted.
Like, because he ain't open the door.
Yeah. I was trying to get back in so she can get through the door. That's when she leaves that part out all the time.
Because that's not irrelevant.
Y'all was already acting like a married couple. Y'all didn't even wait.
So after the paintballing, we all went to Buffalo Wild Wings. So we all agreed that we was gonna like set up another trip. So we was just sitting there, and how we was seated, we was like kind of spaced out. So we asked them to put us together, and she wanted to sit next to me. So she said,
That was a lie. That was a lie.
She sat next to me, right?
Go ahead, James. Tell the truth. Go ahead.
She sat next to me. She was like, she knew she was eyeing the kid. She ain't want to admit it, but she was sitting next to me. So we was like, just talking, having conversation. Then it came time to order. She gonna order the same thing I ordered. So
from that day forward, we've been stuck together. You know, I didn't want to be his friend, but he just wanted to be my friend, and I couldn't get rid of him. So
I didn't want to be your friend, but she the one that like, you could ask for my number. So
first of all, okay, we're going to address this. I'll let the other stuff go. So we've had been messaging over Facebook for about like over a week. So I was like, yo, it's nonstop conversation. Like we stop the conversation like when we go to sleep, and then you wake up, and then if the other one sent a message, we respond. So it was just nonstop conversation, jokes all day long for over a week. So right. I'm like, yo, you could just ask for my phone number. He gonna tell my son, well, I was gonna wait 2 more days, but since you said
I was being a gentleman.
He was being a gentleman that tried to play me.
I didn't try to play you. I was being a gentleman. I was gonna wait a whole week. I didn't want you to think
a week had passed.
Look, he got a system. He got to stick to a system.
You want to take things slow.
I just think it's the being on the man. It's a man thing.
Obviously, it worked out. So you guys been together.
Yeah.
So the system worked. The 7 days worked.
See, you don't gotta like grab onto the beer, like.
We really like talk. She's been my everyday since that day.
Yeah.
Like since we met, like we talk every day, and we still talk every day.
All day
long.
Yeah.
Aww.
Amazing, guys. Amazing. So you guys together, you're a blended family, and you have 4 kids.
Yes.
Yeah. Tell us how was that?
We selling them if you want to buy.
Oh,
no, we got 5.
We got 5. So we're giving ours away for free. Y'all might be selling them, but we give.
No, she said sell. I asked you what.
So we have the funniest part about like when we got to the kids, started talking about the kids, we realized that we both have our oldest is both a boy, and our youngest are both girls, and they're both actually his oldest turned 13 in October. My oldest turns 13 in January, and then for the girls, Kiera was 10 in March, and now Lana's going to be 10 in 2 weeks. So everybody the same page. I'm like, maybe this is God right here. That's what.
I wonder. So how is that? Do you think that has helped them to get along better? Are they like really tight?
Yes, because they realize it's somebody that likes something that I like. It's somebody that's like me, my age, that I can play with. I don't have to be around my sister all day.
Yeah.
I don't have to be with my brother. So they really blended. They was already best friends after the first time they met.
Yeah.
Like
that's good.
We took them to the movies. And this is my best friend. Like, okay.
They didn't even know each other's names. But they were best friends. I said, what's your best friend name? I'm gonna ask him the next time I see him, but that's my okay. But like now our girls, like we're buying winter clothes, and the girls is like, we want everything to be the same. We want all our outfits, just 2 of everything. Let's get 2 of everything. So like those that's 2, cool. They're super, super close. So I feel like for us, especially like again, like social media platforms and hearing people horror stories, I was like, oh, I don't got to go.
But I'm so glad that people get to kind of hear the other sides of the story, because they do usually just hear the horror stories.
Right.
Yeah,
They don't hear.
I thought it was gonna be hard. Like I really did. I thought the kids wasn't gonna like me. I thought they was gonna be bad as hell. I'm like, I didn't know what to expect, but it went very well. It went real easy.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
good.
that's good.
That's good. So break us down with the blendedness. So all of the kids are biologically yours, Alicia, or
No, two is 2 and 2.
oh, they both have to. Okay, got
Yeah.
you. I didn't read the credits.
I was listening.
Sorry.
He has a boy and a girl, and she has a boy and a girl.
Yeah.
Yep, and they're
Yep.
the same age.
All right, I'm
Twins,
here.
Twins.
I'm here now.
No, so that is so good. I
Yeah.
think that that is more than half the battle.
Mhm.
That they're getting along, so then that way, like, your household is at peace inside your household. And I think that's super important.
Yeah.
But so how was it for the people on the outside of your household? Like, you guys coming together?
Well, in the beginning, I feel like on my side, it was like shady comments being said that I got wind of through like a third party that about us and us not lasting, and you know, so it was just comments being said, not directly to me, but just something that, you know, because I feel like sometimes, you know, somebody's always going to do the whisper down the lane thing. So that's just on my side. I mean, on his side, it wasn't really, I will say in the beginning, that it wasn't really much said. It was just kind of like more so like comments being made to him, like, I know you got a girlfriend type type thing. It was like, and he's just like always trying to keep conversation as minimal as possible. So he just like, it just bypassed him, like, whatever. And I'm just like, you know, she said that because she trying to say she know you got a girlfriend. He just like,
Okay.
whatever. Like,
Yeah.
Do not entertain it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's good.
it didn't, I don't know, it didn't affect, that part didn't affect us. Like, we just kind of kept going how going, because at that time it was more so just comments. But like, as far as like our like both of our immediate families, like his family and my family, like, even from the beginning. Yeah, even from the beginning, they were just all team us, like, y'all family. Like, my dad considered, you know, his kids, his grandkids, even before we got married. So once we got engaged, it was just like, oh, I got 7 grandkids.
Yeah.
And it just, you know, for our families, we're always just been a family. So those other comments just never was really, I don't know, never really became an issue for us. It was just, it was the other things that happened like later on down the line that it still didn't become an issue with us, but it put stress on us. And I guess it helped me to understand why, like, people with blended families, like, after a while, they just, I can't do this anymore, because it just become really stressful. But for us, we were really transparent with each other, like, all the time on our feelings on either side, and we just say how we feel and like respect the other's opinion, and, you know, we give the other space to kind of deal with the other party the way they feel that needs to be dealt with.
Yeah. Y'all could probably be blended family coaches. I mean, help other families that are going through this, because that's, you know, when that pressure hits, and it's either, I mean, in most cases that I've known, that pressure does hit sometime, whether if it's in the beginning or after the other families realize that y'all are serious and that you're not backing out, then they add that pressure then. But it's either one or two places, you know?
Yeah.
Like hers, like you said, hers started at the beginning. Mine started like after, like, oh, y'all serious. So
But I feel like his started when the engagement came. When the engagement came, that's when it was like, oh, this is for real. Oh, now we got a problem. And
Mhm.
then that's when it kind of hit the fan. It's just like, and then on my side, it was kind of like, oh, this is for real. Like, I'm just gonna leave them alone. Like, it just kind of, our whole interaction just changed. Like me and their dad, our interactions just completely changed.
Yeah.
Not that they were, I guess, like, a lot or friendly or whatever. They didn't really have an emotion behind it, but it's just kind of like, by then it's just like, okay, we didn't really talk before, and then now it's kind of like, oh, we don't need to talk at all. Like, this is something that really is happening with the kids, is nothing that we really need to discuss at all. Like, even with pickups and drop offs, like, because our son has a phone, he doesn't even contact me. Like, I know every other Friday he's coming. He just calls him and say, hey, I'm on my way, get ready. So it's just like, even little things like that, we don't discuss anymore. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How has that affected, I guess, the rest of the dynamic, if any, with the house?
I don't think it has affected
It
the
hasn't
dynamic.
affected at all. Like everything's still flowing. Everything's still good. Like what we do is we keep that outside the house. Like we'll talk, that's our room talk, but we won't bring it to the kids. We don't talk about them to the kids. We don't talk about them in front of the kids. So we want them to just live like y'all do what y'all do. Y'all don't need to be involved in this.
Yeah.
So we just keep them out and we just discuss it. We talk about it. If it's something we can handle right then, we handle it. If not, we handle it when they come. But we be at peace.
And then the other thing is, if the other homes are saying something to the kids and they come to us and have questions, then those are the things that we address, because they're, something may get said to them that's complete opposite to the actions that's happening in our home. So it's just like, then now it puts them in a space like, I'm confused. Like, so we kind of got to like we're honest to them on a level that they can understand, but also making them understand that this has nothing to do with you. This is between us and them. It has nothing to do with you. And we always, like, even though we're not putting them in there, we're just always like saying, I'm sorry you feel, like you're in this position, because this is not where you should be, especially for when it comes to like his kids, because we had to do a long legal battle, and with the legal battle in Corona, like literally days before we was finally
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Corona shut court down. So it was just like once we kind of pushed it back, and then it finally got to a point where we went to court, and there was just a lot of things that shouldn't have been said to them, and it put especially the youngest in a difficult space. So we kind of had to just break it down and say, this don't have anything to do with you. It's upsetting, but it's okay for you to want the things that you want, for you to feel the way you feel, and just really validate their feelings and how they feel, and tell them that, it's more of an adult issue. As a child, you should be able to have the opportunity to spend time with your dad, and then go and spend time with your mom.
Yeah.
And that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
So is the child that you're talking about, do they stay with you full time?
No, right now we're operating on a 50-50 schedule with his two. My two, they primarily stay with us. They go every other weekend. So, but the child we're talking about is the one that's on the 50-50 schedule.
Like week on, week off.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that, I know that I think that's where it kind of starts getting a little bit
Sticky.
yeah, I don't want to say sticky, but I just said, like, what was the word I used? Complex,
Yeah.
complicated. Because because now you're trying to balance, and what we found was that for the kids, my girls would go with their father sometimes, but would go with that side of the family. And then when they came back, it was like a whole reprogramming type situation. So I
Yeah.
know that it could get like,
And the family, our family dynamic wasn't as, there were like some toxic situations where it might have been intentionally, you know, trying to make the kids act a certain way. So by the time they came back, they were like completely different children. You know what I mean? And we just
Yeah.
had to, like you said, reprogram.
We went through that, like, especially with my son. It's like, because we had structure, and with his mom, it's just like, here go your phone, here go your game, stay out my face type thing. So over here, you got things you do, rules you follow. So it's like when he come back, it's like you gotta instill him back into him. Like, you gotta remember where you at. So the first couple days, it's like a little roller coaster. Then he get back on track.
Especially when it comes to school for him. Like that's our, like, I feel it's crazy because we've had 4 kids, and I just said this like a couple weeks ago. 4 of them, we could get 3 of them to follow suit. It's always one. Always got to be one. And I'm like, you know what? Let me just be grateful that it's only one, not 2. Not everybody is,
right.
but when it comes to school, he's the one that doesn't want to follow suit. Everybody else pretty much is like in line, but with school, he's just not interested. So it's,
he don't like school at all.
Yeah, and not even. So that's like our hardest battle. And then, you know, even with my kids, even though they were every other weekend, like my youngest daughter, I feel like, you know, she gets away with a lot more with her dad, because, you know, she's daddy little girl, so she gets away with a lot more. Then when she come home and she bring that little attitude and a little swing in the head, then you gotta get snaked back into reality. So those first couple of days, like, it took a minute for her to be like, okay, I'm home now. I can't do that no more. Like, I gotta stay daddy house.
Yep, we've been there.
Or feeling like, well, I could just, like, the one thing I really didn't like about the whole situation is that it made them feel like they had options. Like, they felt like
Well, if I don't like
could
it
leave
here, I'll
and be
just go over
here,
there.
right? And I'm like, really, you don't have options. Like,
No.
you're gonna need to do what.
And on top of that, the other side of the family was not as dependent to make a choice like that. You
What
know,
you mean? Oh,
because sometimes they're around, sometimes they're not around. It was dependent on the season. So it's like, I want to leave, but where are you gonna go? Like, where you ain't going
well, they
nowhere.
don't. The thing is, the kids don't. It's so we never talked bad about the bio parents. We never talked bad about them, but it just made, we did have to go to court. We did have to do that kind of stuff. But it just made it really, in our home, it just seemed like, because, I don't know, maybe the bio parent felt guilty because they were in and out, they really poured on extra stuff, like just spoiling them or making them feel, what's the word? I don't want to say like super, super, super special, but what happened is, when you bring them back, first of all, they got to blend in with what our rules are and what's going on, but then you would be MIA for like 2 months,
long periods of time,
3 months, right? So they would be on like these emotional roller coasters. And the thing about kids is that they tend to, what we discovered about ours was that even though we were married, they still had the like fantasy that their parents would get back together. And then at some point it became like you're the enemy because you're the reason why
they're not
together.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think I definitely had to have that conversation with my son, because even though like we were engaged and he's all excited about the wedding, like he was saying, well, maybe one day we can all get a house together. No.
Yeah.
That's never.
Yeah, they don't understand.
But isn't it crazy how kids kind of can process that way? Like, we definitely went through the up and down.
Yeah, and then it was that questions. Well, why can't you guys get back together? Why'd you guys break up? And it's just kind of like, instead of his you know, the other parent answering the question, then it was kind of like, ask your mom. And it was
Right.
like, no, I gotta be
It's
the
her fault. It's her
Mhm,
fault.
mhm.
yeah, I gotta be the bad person. So that was kind of like, that was like more so for me. And I was just like, Dad, why they can't be like his kids and not ask no questions?
Yeah, mine's. I think that question will come when they get a little older. They didn't ask that question yet. Well, they mom made it known to them that we're not together and that it ain't gonna happen because you don't like me. And or is it the one time it was, oh, he left because he don't love us no more. So I had to fix that situation and tell him that's not true. But I think my kids, like, they hold stuff in. So it's like you gotta keep asking questions and then they might tell you. But like the blessing with our situation is my daughter would talk to her. Like they build a relationship where she feels comfortable talking. So I found out stuff through her. Because if I ask questions, it's like, oh, like they favorite words, I don't know. So it's like, okay. Then when I ask her, then I'll say something to her, then she'll go talk to my daughter. And then that's how I find out stuff. It's like it's hard, but it's like that's what I gotta do.
But I always tell him like, because at first he's like, I feel like I should have a relationship, and I told him I think it's not really that she doesn't want to talk to him. I think it's just more so is I give her like the truth, like it's not the emotional like. I feel like on the other side is like the emotional like anger side, and then on his side is more of like the protective, I don't want you to know the bad stuff type of thing. And I'm kind of like in the middle where it's just like, okay, I'm not going to tell you all the adult stuff, but I'm going to give you like a child, level of understanding of the truth of what's happening right now and how it could work and why it's not working. And just so you like, later, at some point in life, I always kind of tell them at some point in life, you're going to get old enough where you have to make these decisions for yourself, where you're going to decide, I'm going to stay with mommy all the, full time. I'm going to stay with daddy full time. And kind of regardless of which way you go, there's no reason the other one should be upset. They might be sad because they want to see you and you can still go see them, but it's okay when you get 15 and 16 to make that choice that I'm going to live with daddy and I'm just going to see come see mommy. So, or vice versa. And I tell her all the time, I said, for me, I'm not going like, it don't matter where you at. I'm still going to stalk you. So it don't matter where you at. And that kind of like helps break the ice just to kind of, I'm able to give her like, just that unbiased of emotion type thing. Because I feel like for him, he more like just, he don't want them to know like the ugly until they're able to understand. But it's like they have to make a decision at some point in life. So they need to understand why things are happening, because you don't want their interpretation to only be the one that's being given to them and not, from the other parent. Instead of
That's a
not,
huge thing.
not that it's you versus her, but it's just kind of like you kind of got to let them get her side and get your side and try them to try to figure out the truth on their own. And then as they get older and understand more, then they can ask more questions.
And I think too, they feel they don't want to hurt the parents' feelings.
Yeah.
So
And
they feel like they don't want to really, that's why they might not really be sharing with you, because they feel like your feelings might be hurt about the way they feel.
yeah, I think it's that, and is the fear of getting in trouble, because like I know how their mom is, so how she react, I think because they know that we're their parents, that I'm gonna react the same way. So it's like I'm constantly trying to show them that that's not how I'm gonna react. So it's like I try to still talk to them and try to open up to them and let them know, like, we can, like, if there's anything you feel comfortable, like, you can come and talk. We can always have open conversation. If you come to me and tell me like you want to talk to me, so when we sit down and talk, you being in trouble was off the table because you coming down and you want to sit down and talk with me. So we want to have a talk. And I always tell them, like, you're not in trouble. As long as you don't lie to me, then you're not in trouble.
Yeah.
We used to our family meetings.
Yeah, we had family meetings.
And they could say, as long as they wasn't disrespectful,
Mm-hmm. They can say what's on their mind, get stuff off their chest. We talk it out. And I think that's a good point, James, that a lot of kids feel like they're going to get in trouble or they're going to get somebody else in trouble. So they hide a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? And if we as parents, if we realize that, even though it's cliche, that it's really about the kids, like that goes such a long way, because we get so upset and we want to disrupt stuff in the moment, but we don't realize that can traumatize a child for the rest of their life. You know, after you've forgotten about it and things boil over, they are still dealing with those things.
Have you guys, we used to do family therapy. Have you guys done any therapy, or you're just talking, together as a family?
They're about to do therapy now.
Oh.
They're about to run the sessions.
We haven't done any family therapy. It was a relative proposed it to the other party, and it was just pretty much like shot down. Like, there's no way in hell I'm going to do it or anything like that. I don't think, like, for us, if she would agree to it, we would do it, just because at the end of the day, like you said, as he rolled his eyes, I would be open to it, because at the end of the day, it's about, like you said, it's about the kids. And there's just things, especially when you're working on a 50-50 custody, that so much can happen in a week.
Yeah.
And then on Sunday, I'm getting you back, and whatever was happening the week before, if that carries over into my week, I need to know everything that happened up what's happening now on Tuesday. And if we're so much at odds that we can't communicate these things to each other, the only person that really suffers is
a kid.
Yeah.
Like, that's just, for me. And then for my counterpart, like, I've never talked to him about family therapy. I don't think he would be into it. But also, it's just like his role, although he's around and he's consistent with his every other weekend, that's pretty much it. It's just the every other weekend. And all the things in between and anything else has always been my decision, and always been like, I've carried it. I've made the decision. If it carried into his weekend, I would notify him. If it was, it got to the point where I was just like, if he don't ask, like, I was giving him information, but he would just be like, okay, and he didn't show up. So I stopped giving information. It was like, if you want to know about report card conferences, then you should ask. If you want to know about this, then you should ask. He didn't ask. I didn't say it. I kept moving forward, because my dad kind of helped me with that by saying, like, look, you have to get to a point where you don't need him, and you have to take care of your children, because while you're trying to get him to help you, that's more stress you're adding to yourself. And while still trying to take care of the children, you don't need all that. You need to have yourself and just take care and do what you can control, because you can't force somebody to do something that they don't want to do. So that's just where I went, and I just kind of been carrying that way. And once I kind of let go of that, I feel like the next step was for me to let go of the anger that he wasn't going to do.
As active.
And once I got let go of that, then it's just like I felt so free. Like I felt so much free. And then next thing I know, this guy comes along, and then it's like, now I got help. I'm like, oh.
Whoa. See, that's why she shot you, man. She was like, oh, wait a minute. Bang, bang.
I'm right here.
Look, man, you was like a deer in the forest, man. She saw you. She was like.
I think you said a lot of great
That was
things.
some good stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I want to touch on a couple. when we did family therapy, we didn't include the bio parents. They weren't down with it.
At least in
whatever.
the beginning.
Okay.
We had bio parents come in.
You had your.
Oh, yeah.
That was that one time.
One
Yeah.
time, they ain't count.
I mean, it happened, but
but we did it for us.
Yeah.
And also I think more so for the kids. So like the kids spent a lot more time in the sessions to be able to express whatever they were feeling. And then also it helped with teaching them and teaching us how to communicate with them to really, you know, connect and get out what's happening.
Yeah.
But
and create that safe space for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because our kids kept a lot of stuff in too, and we didn't know. But I think the points that Alicia made that was really, really good, that I had to do the same thing too, is stop, like I just had to, I had to change my expectations of what he was going, because we were married before. So now it's like, oh, you don't know nobody, you know, no, you don't know the kids, whatever. But I think changing those expectations and it set me free, because it helped me also deal with the kids, not from a place of like anger, not being frustrated, not being aggravated, and just realizing that you're not there and I can't make you be there. I can't make you show up the way you should be showing up.
And I'm going to stop expecting you to do that.
And I'm going to go on with my life, like you said. Yeah. So I thought that was
good. So if anybody out there struggling with it, remove your expectations and just keep moving.
It definitely does free you, like, to another mate. And I owe that advice to my dad. So I owe my advice definitely to my dad, because he was the one that kind of, and I think we probably had that conversation after I had like came from like child support court, and I was just upset about like the things that was said about, that he said about me, you know, in the mediation. And my dad just broke it down to me, and he's like, you know, I understand you're upset, but you gotta let it go, because you still gotta go home and take care of your 2 kids. So you still have to push through. So
you know, and we always tell the story how Akita really helped me, because I used to get the text messages and I used to be like, and then we'd go back and forth and stuff. And then like just know the stuff to say to like really, we really, you know,
that's me. I'm like,
but
going in. And
I kind of rubbed off on her, because like your husband, I was the same way. I wouldn't respond. She'd be like, "You ain't gonna say nothing?" I said, "No." I said, because me responding, it ain't gonna do nothing but escalate. All she gonna do is keep going back. It's gonna be a whole back and forth. So if it's not about the kids, I never respond.
Yeah. The same thing with her.
Even sometimes it would be something that was about the kids, but it's added with like
other stuff.
Other stuff. So he's just like, I don't need to respond. I'm like, no, we need to address this.
She like, that's how she gets in. Like, so as soon as she says something about the kids and I respond, then it's next thing you know, it's a floodgate of messages is coming in, and it's like stuff that has nothing to do with nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Feelings from 2010, like there's nothing I can do about that now. So I don't respond. Like I said, if I gotta scroll up like 4 times to read your message, I'm not reading it.
That's a good one.
Yep. And I'll be the one like, well, she might say something even
important, right? You might need to know.
If she's not going to respond, at least let me read it, because I know he's not going to read it. So I'll at least read the message and be like, well, she said such and such, and then end up later that message did need to be read, because a lie will be told later on and be like, yo, remember when she sent you that long message 2 weeks ago? And that message, he said, da, 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 da. He was like, and then he'd be like, see, that's why I don't respond.
But the thing is, no, I'm gonna correct her. I have to read them to her, because if I let her read them, she'll sneak and respond. Like, oh, I said, then I'm wondering why my phone is going, I'm looking like, right, I shouldn't have responded. I was like,
but I don't respond. I don't respond anymore, because we got an email this morning. I wanted to respond, but I didn't. I left it in a draft so he can read it first before it gets sent. So I've gotten better.
Y'all got a system now, yeah.
Right.
James
Give
proof.
it
You
time.
write it. James proofread it, and then
just let
Gotta edit it sometimes. Like, no,
Yeah.
we can't do that. We gotta say this.
Yeah. But it was the same thing with me and Tisha. And you know, when they text you like that, their intention is to like make you get stressed out, make you get all out of sorts or whatever. That's their intention. They're not really trying to resolve nothing, really talk about nothing important. It's really just to make you go crazy.
And I remember the first time he was like, "You don't have to say nothing," and I was like, "What?"
I told you, yeah. She was like surprised, like that.
But at the first, and I didn't do it the first couple of times. He said, I still said stuff, but one time he did tell me not to say anything, and I didn't say anything, and I just saw, or he would look at it and he would say this, and this,
right,
and that's it,
to shut it down. We're not going back and forth about it,
I was so surprised. Like, I was so surprised when I said that it shut stuff down. And I was like, okay, so I don't need to respond every single time my phone buzzes and goes off. Like, okay. And then after a while, it was like, if I see the text, maybe I'll read it tomorrow. Like, I'm not doing it unless it's a dire. And if it is, you're gonna call me.
Then you prioritize. You know. But time is currency. I'm not going to give my time away to something that's not going to benefit it.
Before James, I definitely, my system was like, especially if we engaged in some type of back and forth, then once I got to a point, I would say like my last remarks to kind of get everything off my chest, and then hit him on the block list. Bam. You got to say after that. So
you got the last word. Yeah.
But my thing is, after the last word, were you upset?
I was already upset.
Yes or no? Are you upset?
I was already upset.
But
so they just the anger.
It's a yes or no question. Are you upset?
Yes.
All right, that's my point right there.
So you just gotta do it, James. Don't even
respond.
Yeah, don't even.
I mean, I got to the point where like I didn't respond, or I just let stuff go. But like I said, now we're at a point. I guess once it realized, like, especially once we got married, it just really nothing. Like, there's no back and forth. It's kind of nothing else to say. If something's major happening, or that he should really know, I'll inform him. But other than that, I still stick to like my same pattern. Like, if you ask or if you want to know, I'll gladly give you the information. But especially with COVID, like all the homeschooling and all that, that was me in here, like working from home, trying to help them with schoolwork and emailing teachers and stuff like that. So it wasn't really just any questions he asked or anything he wanted to know about school, he asked them. So they're at the age where they can just tell them. So I backed out of it. Even then, it gives me peace. I don't gotta talk to you. You don't gotta talk to me.
And every family is different, and you got to find what works for you. And if it's going smoothly, like you guys have got a great situation in your blended family, and I think that you need to talk to more blended families and tell them your story, because people don't get to hear that side of it. They always hear the bad stuff, and they don't hear the good stuff. So it would be refreshing to hear that.
So what advice would you give to somebody who's thinking about getting married and they would be in a blended family situation? What piece of advice would you give them?
Have a strong, like, open relationship with your partner. Like, the person you're marrying, you definitely have to be able to communicate them, because things have arise with the other parties that really could have, that we look at now and like, yo, this could have destroyed us. Like, this other people, somebody else might have said, no, I'm not dealing with this, and walked away, on both sides. So it's really have like that strong open relationship, and because that's one of the biggest things we have. I always account like our happiness to the fact that we are so completely open with each other. Sometimes he say I'm a little too open, but like we share, just sharing everything. And also, it's even more important to put your relationship first. Like, no, even, yeah, it's not saying don't take care of the kids, but like, take care of the kids, but still, you gotta, sometimes you gotta put yourself above the kids. Get the kids settled, and with they hot dogs and baked beans, and y'all have some Chick-fil-A in a movie in your room.
Hey,
Hello,
listen,
hello. Do
talk
you have
about
a
it.
lock on your door? We have
Talk
we
about
have a
it.
pad, like what is it, a punch lock on
Oh
our
yes,
door.
if you guys don't have a combination lock to your bedroom door,
It's the best.
go get one.
ever.
And
I'm
thank
telling
you later.
Oh, okay.
I thought about that. About that.
Yeah,
But
it comes
sometimes
in handy.
we've had since we were started dating, like we have a standard every other Friday date night. Like that's our standing date night. You know, sometimes it may get altered or like something else. We might do something before, but then go out on our date. But date nights and staying open, because I feel like those are the biggest things that's helped us stay so strong, because we put our relationship, our marriage, like our friendship above all of that. That's always been number one from the beginning.
Mhm.
You always got to make sure, like with the kids, and because kids they'll try to put one against the other, and they'll just try to get you. These little, they cannot.
Yep,
Yeah.
gems. Those are gems right there.
I know. I'm with
Telling you.
Akita. Like y'all need to go ahead and start
Yep.
coaching some folks, and because like everything that you have just said about like it being the focus being on you two,
Yeah.
and then everything else being on the outside is what we talk about all the time in
Mhm.
order to be able to, like you said, press through. And I like the example you gave, because you said it's like you just go through it and then you're like, we did it.
Mhm.
You know, it wasn't
When
that
you
bad.
when you go through it together, it's a different experience when you're trying to do it separately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're not communicating, you're
Mhm.
not spending that quality time together. You start to feel like, okay, so we're not in this together. I'm doing my thing, you doing your thing. And it's
Yeah.
harder. It's harder to go through those situations. So
Yeah.
together
And
it's better.
like
Yeah.
you said, like what we do like every night, like we have a little nightcap, like before we go to bed, we sit down and talk every night.
Mhm.
Like we constantly communicate, like how was your day? What's on your heart? What's on your mind? Like you need to vent. Here's the time to vent, let it out. So you can get it off your chest and move on. Like we just want to be at peace. Like I tell everybody, we on a wave. Like this is our wave. We just ride it. Like if you can't get on our wave, then you gotta go somewhere else. But we're not gonna let nobody disrupt this. We're not gonna let nobody knock this off. We just gonna keep flowing.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I love
I like
it.
that.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. We riding the wave. You either ride it with us
Uh-huh.
or you stay on the shore somewhere.
Yeah.
So
That's good.
so tell us before we go, tell us how
Yeah, how can people reach you? Where can they find you? Give them
Well,
your handle.
we have our YouTube page, that Pittman Life. That's fun. We supposed to be recording a new video, but we haven't. It's his fault. And Instagram, that Pittman
That
Life.
Pittman Life Instagram.
So
Yeah,
that's.
Pittman Life.
I have a before we go. I have a question for y'all.
Oh, go ahead. Hit us with it.
With 5 kids, y'all been married like 10 years? Did I say
12 years.
almost
12
13.
12 years.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, like, with all that has happened, like, have y'all had ever just said like how we make it through, and like, or how do y'all like just think about like all the things you've been through and just ever sit back and just bask in it and just be like, wow, we made it through like this much stuff, this long list of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then, how do you just like always stay connected for such a long period of time?
You wanna go? Or?
I'll let you go.
Well, communication is a big thing. Whenever things get really, really tough, because things get tough, we have these things what we call check-ins. Y'all talk every night. We call them check-ins, and we just kind of lay it out. Like if anything is on our heart, anything that is not rolling well with us, even if it's something outside of the family that's affecting us, we'll talk about it, and we'll try to be there for each other as much as we can. But I think a huge contributor to why we're still together is because of God. Like, because honestly, my love alone for my wife or my kids is not going to sustain us, and that's not going to keep us. We need God. We need prayer and just something stronger than ourselves to kind of keep us together.
And we've also a couple of things. We also, when the kids were, because four of our kids are now out, well, not out, but they're technically adults, and so we just have two still in the house. But we,
Lucky
like you guys, on a regular, we took vacations, like at least every 4 months, like away.
Even the kids was like, why
somewhere.
y'all always going out someplace? Like,
oh yeah, or we do like the date nights, like you said.
Yeah.
We go out to eat by ourselves.
Yeah.
Like we were super intentional about just spending that time together for us to connect. And then I think we also recognize that these kids gonna play you out. Like they gonna love you today and like hate you tomorrow. And so we can't have all our focus on them. Like our focus gotta be on us.
And we can't be so easily hurt by things that they say either, because they're going to go through things in their life and they're going to get upset. And you know how they can only see past so far. They may say something that's hurtful. They may say, oh, you're not my dad, or whatever the case may be, but you can't let that stuff hurt you, and you just got to, like you said, just keep moving forward, stay together.
Therapy. When necessary. Like, because you will go through those humps just in marriage. It may not even necessarily be about the kids, and you might get to a space where you're not seeing eye to eye on it, even though you keep revisiting it, and you bring somebody else in to help you. And I think even with like, having those people that you can talk to and that want y'all to win, you know what I mean? That's not gonna be like, girl, you better just drop him, they're gonna up. You might want to think about that. Like, did you consider this or did you consider that? And just surrounding yourself by those type of people.
Y'all are a dope couple. I really appreciate, you guys dropping those gems and having this conversation with us. We gotta get together soon. We gotta connect soon.
Connect again.
No doubt. I definitely appreciate it, and I thank y'all as well, because it feels good to talk to another married couple that's especially just already like ahead of us, has been through it longer. So just to hear somebody and the positivity come back, like, oh yeah, we can make it. It's still a chance. It's like, it's encouraging just to hear and talk to another married couple that's doing well. Thank you.
Well, thank you guys for coming on.